Christmas night in Edmonton, Alberta already today. We've seen Slovakia edge Switzerland in the thriller, and Finland beat a gutsy, short-handed German team. But this is the one we've been waiting for all day. Russia and the United States on night one of the World Juniors. As we say Merry Christmas, Canada, welcome inside the rink in Edmonton and the bubble in Edmonton. James Duthie alongside Bob McKenzie for the finale of our triple header here on day one of the World Juniors. This is the first time since 2004 since the juniors have started on Christmas Day. And that year, that day, Phil Kessel and the U.S. beat Alexander Ovechkin and Evgeny Malkin and the Russian team. 16 years later, same two teams on Christmas Day, but new stars, including a couple in goal. With more on that, the guys who'll call this one, Gordon Miller and Ray Ferraro.
Players don't often get a second chance at the World Junior, but two potential superstar netminders will get one this year.
Yeah, rare for the goaltender to get another opportunity that they get to come back and try and fix the baubles of the previous year. Yaroslav Askarov, the 11th pick of Nashville in 2020, really looked overwhelmed last year, jittery, nervous, a highly touted prospect that looked over his head, an .877 save percentage. He was brilliant in the pre-tournament warm-up game against Canada. Spencer Knight, who was drafted in 2019 by Florida, had an uneven tournament last year. While his numbers were okay, there were times he really fought the puck. Knight is a franchise-type goaltender, as is Askarov. These two youngsters will get a chance, and they're both the backbones of their team as they head into the first game of the tournament.
Knight was in goal for the U.S. last year when they beat the Russians 3-1, America's fifth straight win against Russia at the World Junior Championship.
You don't need extra incentive to watch USA and Russia at the World Juniors, but fans of four Canadian clubs do have it tonight, don't they, Bob?
That's right, James. You've got your American fans, you got your Russian fans, and then you've got the tribalism of the Canadian-based NHL franchises who have a rooting interest individually here. So Ottawa Senator fans are going to turn in, look at Team USA, and see big Jake Sanderson on the blue line, and they're really excited about what he's going to bring, their first-round pick from this past draft. And the Montreal Canadian fans, they love what Cole Caulfield does. He's playing on that line with Matthew Beniers and Matthew Boldy. Dynamic, scored 2 goals in a pre-tournament game, looks fantastic. So now you flip it over to the Russian side. You got your Russian fans. Well, then you got your Toronto Maple Leaf fans. Rodion Amirov. Ooh, he takes a little puck in the face there, but he's okay, no problem. He's ready to go with left wing on the top line. Leaf fans will love that. And then you've got Vasily Podkolzin, and Vancouver Canuck fans, they love that. And he's a left shot that plays on the right side, but that's not unusual on the Russian team. They have only one right-hand shot on the entire team.
And as Ray and Gord mentioned, Nashville and Florida fans also excited about this one. Askarov, 7 games in the KHL this year, absolutely brilliant, and he was perfect in the half game against Canada. And Spencer Knight, also excellent in his 4 games with Boston College this season. Well, Sweden will have something to say about it for sure, but the winner of this game has the early inside track in Group B.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
Merry Christmas from Edmonton. It's the 3rd game of day 1 of the World Junior Hockey Championship, and it is a dandy. The United States takes on Russia. And 2 great rivals meet on day 1 of the tourney. The referees and linesmen all from Canada. Olivier Gouin, one of the referees, worked the 2018 Olympic Winter Games. Brett Rowland from Winnipeg worked here at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. The linesmen are Nathan Van Oosten from Vancouver and Brent O'Quinn from Woodstock, Ontario. And there is Spencer Knight, the 19-year-old from Darien, Connecticut, who gets the start for Team USA. 4 games played last year at a .913 save percentage. Yaroslav Askarov struggled last year. .877, as Ray mentioned, a save percentage in 5 games. Pulled in his opener against the Czechs, and then again in the semifinal against Sweden. 48-year-old Nate Lehman is the head coach of Team USA. The head coach at Providence College for the last 10 years. He won a national championship there in 2015. He was twice an assistant coach for the team. And there is Igor Larionov, the Hockey Hall of Fame and IHF Hall of Fame member. First-time head coach of the Russian national team, was assistant last year when they lost the gold medal game to Canada. The last 11 meetings between these two have been decided by 2 goals or fewer.
Great day for hockey. Merry Christmas, boys. Have a good one.
And here we go. Mohamedulin back with it for Russia. The Russians have 3 returning players from last year, but a much younger team than we're used to seeing. 7 of these players could come back to next year's World Junior Championship. That's one of the biggest differences between Igor Larionov and his predecessor, Valery Bragin. Bragin brought teams comprised almost exclusively of 19-year-old players during his 8 terms as the Russian national junior team head coach. Rodion Amirov, first-round pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs, flip side in. Played back in behind the goal. Here's the American captain, Cam York. The first-round Philadelphia draft pick. Throws that ahead for Arthur Kaliyev, who scored twice in that game for Team USA against the Russians at last year's tournament. Alex Turcotte got spun around along the boards. It's flipped back to the American line. And there's Jake Sanderson, the Ottawa first-rounder. Back across to Jackson Lacombe. That's picked up. Afanasiev moves in for the Russians. That was poke-checked away by Matt Boldy. Now Boldy swings it out for Team USA. Fires it off the end boards. A bouncing puck up by Askarov for a moment. And unlike most Russian goaltenders we've seen in the past, Ray, Askarov loves to play the puck.
He's aggressive. He'll jump out of the net. He's a really great skater, and he thinks he can get to almost anything off the end boards. He almost got victimized by a bouncing puck there.
Sanderson winds his way into Boldy. A shot that goes off the foot of Daniil Chayka. Chayka spent a couple of years playing in the Ontario Hockey League for Guelph. Now plays for CSKA Moscow in the KHL. Brock Faber spins, works his way through the defensive zone, is being harassed there, and poked the puck back to center ice. Yegor Chinahov had a stick on him. Got up by Sam Colangelo. A hard collision there. He ran over Shakir Mohamedulin. Safonov up for Mohamedulin. Jersey first-round pick, Mohamedulin. Swings that back to Semyon Chistikov. Chistikov drops it off to Maxim Groshev, one of the 3 returnees from last year. Groshev's a Tampa Bay third-round pick. That was played back to Kusenov. Yorkson drops the puck off, and the shot by Bardakov turned away by Knight. Patrick Moynihan takes the return pass at center ice, rings it around the boards. Jumping to it is York. And Cam York looks down for Landon Slager. The puck was out of his reach. And Kusenov plays it past York and back down the ice. And icing called against the Russians.
There is Shakir Mohamedulin, the 18-year-old defenseman drafted by the New Jersey Devils. He's going to stand up in the neutral zone as he's got Colangelo a little bit with his head down, but the difference in size is that Mohamedulin weighs 170 pounds and Colangelo weighs 205, and he went right over top of him. There's lots to fill out on Mohamedulin, but that's an aggressive play in the middle of the ice and a play that the Russians want to make, and that's to stay up in the play to close off gaps.
Groshev with a rink-wide backhand pass in the defensive zone. That long shot goes off the glove of Knight. That was taken by Kusenov. Larionov has talked about wanting to bring the joy back to hockey. Told his team, remember how it felt when you were kids. Get that feeling back. And now jumping in, a great chance for Turcotte. Puck rolled off his stick, and now Turcotte bumped into Askarov. And a tripping penalty is going to go against the Russians. And this will be Artemi Kanayazev who goes off.
Rush shot number 2, minor penalty for tripping.
Alex Turcotte with a little toe drag here, and he slides it through Kuznetsov, who goes for the hip check, but in the midst of it ends up pulling Turcotte down. Just 2 assists in 5 games last year for Turcotte. Said he wants to make a bigger impact this year. Felt he really pressed trying to make things happen last year as an 18-year-old.
It was Yan Kuznetsov who got the penalty. As you mentioned, Ray, a second-round pick of the Calgary Flames in 2020. And the Russians clear it down.
The Russians penalty killed against Canada in that pre-tournament warm-up very aggressively. They got up the ice, they hunted the puck, didn't give Canada much room to get set up.
Cole Caulfield scored twice for the U.S. in their warm-up game against Finland. Scored twice in about a minute and a half. Now Caulfield lost the puck to Panamaria. Vasily Panamaria brings it back to center ice. Drops it off to Bardakov. Bardakov works in. That's knocked down by Boldy. Zegras plays that rink wide to Boldy. U.S. gets set up. Kaliev back to Sanderson. He was tied up. And the puck kept alive by Caulfield. Now a pass right in front by Kaliev. Knocked down, and a lead pass there just missed Safonov, who's in behind the American defense. Inside a minute to go with the first power play of the game for Team USA. Jake Sanderson. His first year at the University of North Dakota, drops it off for Lacombe. Jackson Lacombe got straightened up. And Amirov brings it out.
And we've seen a couple examples already about how aggressive the Russians are right up at the blue line. The U.S. wants to get set up, but they're not in deep enough to push the Russian forecheck, or the Russian forwards rather, back off the line.
Amirov with a short-handed chance there. Now brought in by Turcotte. Swings it across to Brink. Bobby Brink peels back. Pass goes off a skate. Amirov's got it back for a moment. Lacombe knocks it down. In the corner for Brisson to Faber. Cross he goes to Lacombe. Lacombe spins back in the corner. Kuchikov watching him. Plays out ahead to Amirov. He needs to get off the ice, and Amirov sends it down. Just 5 seconds left. No shots on goal for Team USA on the first power play of the game.
Exactly what they did to Canada. There's just no room to breathe. The U.S. has to get that puck deeper into the zone before they pull it up and try to set up.
Now a steal by Podkolzin. Vasily Podkolzin works in, and Spencer Knight tosses that away.
There's a reason Vancouver is so excited about Podkolzin. He had a glimmer of room, and he stuck his shoulder down and drove the net.
Icing waved off there as Chayka went back for it. And now Chayka gets crunched along the boards as Slaggert stepped into him. Afanasyev with a pass that goes into the Russian bench. No score here in the first period on day one of the 2021 World Junior.
There was Igor Larionov, the 60-year-old, in his first year as head coach. What a terrific man he is, and a vision of hockey that wants to be aggressive and to bring joy back into the game, as you mentioned, Gord. Watch how aggressive the Russians are at the top of the blue line. The Americans never get the puck past the top of the circles, so they can't get set up. The Russians are all over top of it. Spiridonov and Safonov keep the puck outside the blue line, right inside that 10-foot mark. Inside the line to the 10-foot mark outside the line. The U.S. doesn't get set up and don't get any shots on that power play.
Mohamedouman ahead for Bashkirov. Afanasyev centers it. That pass just missed. Spiridonov peels back in the corner. Mohamedouman feeds it across, and Kuchakov with a shot that gets blocked in front, and now brought back by Matthew Beniers, the youngest player on Team USA. A late 02 boards eligible for the upcoming draft, and he got slammed down there by Chichikov.
Beniers is going to be an important player for the United States. They had some COVID issues right before the tournament. They lost 2 centermen, and Thomas Bordeleau and John Beecher, and that pushed Beniers into an important spot.
Chinahov plays it in behind the American goal. Knight out to play it. And hulking Ilya Safonov battles for it along the board. 6'4", 205 pounds. Vincent. Now fed back to Chayka. Feeds it across, and that shot by Kuznetsov. He fanned on it, cued it wide. Ritsa tied up by Boldy in the corner. Drew Hellison tries to dig it free. Knocked down. Chayka plays it back, and hard shot by Chinahov is knocked away. Beniers plays it back to center ice. Chayka back to pick it up. And a big hit by Sanderson in front of the American bench as he leveled Safonov. Drew Hellison plays at Boston College in the NCAA. Takes the return pass and picks his way out. Long lead pass goes off his skate. And Kirsanov back to pick it up. On the boards he goes for Bardakov. And Bardakov moves out along with Ponomaryov. That pass out of the reach of Ponomaryov. Bardakov works back in front. Bouncing puck goes back to the point. Kirsanov. And that long shot, defended, score! Kanayev with a point shot, tipped in front of Knight, and Russia takes a 1-0 lead.
Ponomarev gets the deflection in front of the net. This play starts with a drive to the net and a loose puck. Watch the aggressive move by Bardakov to the front of the net, and the U.S. never really recovers. Ponomarev is standing just inside the bottom of the circle. This simple shot by Kanayev is deflected, and you'll see it go straight across the net. An odd deflection that beats Spencer Knight on the glove side, and Russia has a 1-0 lead.
Vasily Ponomarev, who played for Shawinigan this year in the Quebec Major Junior League, a Carolina second-round pick. We talked about the number of 18-year-old players in this team. He's one of them, eligible to return next year. And Russia grabs the lead, and Mohamedov and plays it across. Kuznetsov has that broken up by York. York took a hard bump along the boards. And in comes Amirov. Rodion Amirov. That shot goes off a skating wide. Mohamedov's in deep. And Kuznetsov trying to dig it free. Now does loose at the side of the goal. That's knocked away by Kuznetsov. Henry Thrun out to center ice. That pass too far for Brett Berard. And Mohamedov plays it back. Mohamedov, a gold medalist in the summer of 2019 at the Holinka Gretzky Cup for the Czech Republic. And 7 members of that Russian team are here in this tournament. Race towards the puck, and Tashkirov got there first. Tashkirov down low, plays it back. He goes off the stick of Kuznetsov and back down the ice. There's Askarov way out to play it. Just under the reach of Colangelo.
I know it's because he catches the same hand, but he's got a little Grant Fuhr in him. Remember how Fuhrs used to come flying out of the net, and he just loved to play it. Sometimes not to his benefit. Which is the same thing with Askarov. He's so aggressive, you're going to bobble it once in a while.
And unusual again to see right-hand catching goaltenders. There aren't a lot of them. Askarov along the boards. That's knocked down by Colangelo. Galchenyuk cleans up the mess. Now Boldy fires that wide. Back at the point is Faber. Block Faber down to Colangelo. Crisscrossing there with Boldy. They battle for the puck in behind the goal. And the centering pass goes back to Faber. Faber along the wrist shot. That's tipped just wide by Boldy. Ryan Johnson digs it free to Boldy. Matthew Boldy. Now the centering pass. Beniers to Caulfield, and Cole Caulfield comes off the bench and just misses.
That's a slick play by Beniers to find Caulfield right down the guts of the ice.
Brought in by Beniers. His backhand pass trickles through the crease. Boldy back on it. Beniers, a freshman at the University of Michigan. Gets bumped along the boards. Kuznetsov picks it up, puts it high in the air, and back down the American line. Faber has Chinahov all over him. Now knocked down by Groshev. Groshev in, shoots. That goes off a stick and wide. Turcotte, lead pass for Caulfield. Cole Caulfield, little back pass. That's picked up by Groshev. Sends it ahead to Bardakov. And Bardakov puts that back in the corner. Clark pulls it. Kirsanov, that shot off a stick and wide. Zegras with it. And now Turcotte up for Caulfield at the end of a shift. You find Zegras, that's in the feet of Kirsanov, and Askarov way up to play it again.
Here's entertaining. The U.S. without a shot here, 11.5 minutes into this first period.
Lead pass, and Kanayev finds Podkolzin, and that pass bounces off the stick of Amirov. Back to the point. Chichikov, a long shot. Knight knocked it away. The rebound was picked up. Now Chichikov back with it. And banked off the boards by Schlager. Lead pass. Walking Kaliev with a chance. And the save is made by Askarov. Vasily Ponomarev with the deflection gives Russia a 1-0 lead here in the first.
talked a little bit of Yaroslav Askarov's puck-playing ability. Aggressively out of the net, almost any time he can get to the puck. He's a mobile guy, so he'll get way out to the corner. Don't forget, in international hockey, you can go play it anywhere you want. Here he is trying to play a little hide-and-seek with Trevor Zegras as Russia darts out the other side of the net.
He's been terrific in so many tournaments for the Russians. The exception was last year's tournament. We talked about it. Pulled in the opener against the Czech Republic. Pulled in the semifinal against Sweden, but he has been lights out.
To the point last year that NHL scouts were telling us at the tournament, now we got to go back to Russia to watch him again. They couldn't believe the difference in him up to early December, and then what he played like in the tournament. They went back, and clearly Nashville liked what they saw as they took him in the 11th pick.
He's been terrific in the KHL this year, a .962 save percentage in 7 starts. That's the men's league. And this Russian team played in the Karjala Cup in Finland. It's an international men's tournament. 4 countries represented, and Igor Larionov lobbied to have the Russian team go, the junior team, and they won that tournament. He was fantastic in the championship game. Posted a shutout against the Czechs. The Finns and Swedes are also in it. They went 3-0 against those men's teams to win the competition.
Funny, the men's teams didn't want them there initially. They thought that they should have a men's pro team there, and then this group of youngsters won the tournament.
Shot by Kanayev was blocked, and Brendan Brisson stepped into him. Moynihan at center ice had that knockdown. Gritsuk pumped there by Brisson. And Faber plays it around. Brisson. That's Safonov step into him. And the puck bounces wide. Safonov makes his presence known every shift. And here he is with it now. Safonov gains center ice and across the line. Pumped there by Turcotte. Faber collides with him, and Safonov just stays on it. Now finally picked off by Turcotte. Chichikov knocks it down to Gritsuk, and finally moved out by Kaliev. Rink wide to Zegras. Back across to Kaliev. That pass missed. A sharp angle shot by Kaliev. And that's stopped by Askarov.
There's not a shot that Arthur Kaliev doesn't like. He's got both of the U.S. shots. Here's one, a nice play from Zegras that bounces off Kaliev's stick. Look, he's right at the goal line, and that does not miss the net. This forces, right from the goal line, Askarov to be sharp and to make a stop. That is a goal scorer's shot.
One of 6 Americans who hasn't played this year. He plays for Hamilton in the Ontario League.
He's been training down in Los Angeles with the LA Kings pro development guys, so he's been on the ice and training with NHL guys.
Cam York along wrist shot. It's a swinging score. Askarov couldn't get it all, and Cam York has tied the game for the U.S.
That is not a good goal for Askarov to give up. A 50-ish foot wrist shot, and the captain, Cam York, is on the board. He played just 29 minutes in the tournament last year. The Flyers' first-round draft choice is their power play quarterback. This is really good work below the goal line from Boldy and Caulfield to get it back to York. Askarov's got a good look at that. There's no screen in front of the net. He just misses it. It squeezes through his blocker arm and body and trickles over the goal line. And 14 minutes into the first period, we're tied at 1.
On the 3rd shot of the game for Cam York, the native of Anaheim Hills, California. He has more points in the IHF Under-18 tournament than any defenseman in American history. Now Drew Hellison has it knocked down by Amirov. Lead pass to Husnudinov. Tied up by Sanderson. Along the boards, digging forward is Moynihan. Drops it back to Hellison. 5.5 to go here in the opening period. And icing called against Team USA.
York is going to be the recipient of some really nice work below the goal line from Caulfield and Boldy, and his shot squirts through Askarov. Askarov ends up spun around as he is fighting that puck all the way in.
Gayachev has given the goal to Boldy.
I thought that puck might have been deflected about 20 feet in front of the net. We'll get another look at it.
Slager, Bernacchi moving in. Puck still loose. The Jam waited more to hit. Oh, what a stop by Askarov, who shoots out the left pad and takes away what would have been the go-ahead goal.
What a save.
1-1 the score. Askarov keeps it that way.
The U.S. is on the board with Cam York's goal that has been given to Boldy right now, but look at this flexibility by Askarov. As wide as you possibly can go to make the save to keep this game tied at 1.
Well, as wide as he could possibly go for the rest of us.
Well,
a chance at the side of the goal, off the side of it. Once again, a good chance for York.
That's a pretty good point.
And a point shot by Zegras, and that tip just wide. So for being held on a shot for nearly 12 minutes of the first period, it's now even at 4 apiece. Chichikov around to Mohamedulin. Pass across to Gritsuk. Gritsuk in a wrist shot, kicked away by Knight. I think they might change the scoring on that first American goal. We'll take another look at it, but a chance right back in front by Husnudinov. His pass was just missed. Kaliev back across to Turkov. Puts it for Zegras. The pass back for Kaliev. Broken up. Gritsuk has it right back. Ahead for Chinahov, who's jumped in, and now Gritsuk has it bounce away from him. Kaliev to Turcotte. In comes Bobby Brink with it. Brink works in, shoots, and Askarov makes the stop.
U.S. starting to come on here in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Nate Lehman's team has got their legs, tied the game at 1. Here's another look at the goal. It's the York shot. They've given the goal to Boldy, but watch the puck. It starts to wobble out here. It never changes directions. It goes right off the hip, off his foot, and it's in the net.
Here's Amirov with it. Luke Podkolzin.
That's a good play.
Faber.
Sorry, Gord. That's about the 3rd play like that Faber is made on that right side. Tight up on the Russian forwards who want to attack one-on-one and swept it aside.
Bashkirov moved that ahead. Lacombe back to pick it up for Team USA along the boards, picked up by Amirov. Amirov flips that down. Podkolzin back to Amirov. Drops it back to Mohamedulin with a shot, and that deflects wide. A collision in front and a penalty coming up as Bashkirov was knocked down, and a slashing call will go against Team USA with 3:22 to go in the period, and it will be Ryan Johnson who goes off.
USA number 23, minor penalty, slashing.
Russia puts on a little pressure, gets into their cycle, and Johnson takes a slashing penalty, so the Russians will get their first power play to match the Americans' power play earlier in the period. There's Johnson, 23, and there's the slash as he knocks the stick out of the hand of the Russian forward.
Safonov on the face-off for Gritsuk. Brings it back around for Chinahov. On the boards, Boldy off a skate that kept the puck alive. Gritsuk walks in, shoots, and he fired it wide. The break for Chayka there to keep the play alive. Chinahov to Chayka, to Gritsuk. Gritsuk, a rink-wide pass. Chinahov in, a wrist shot that deflected wide. Safonov back to Chinahov, to Chayka. Chayka works the line. Drops it back to Chinahov. Centering pass, tipped on by Safonov. That's kicked away by Knight. And now Boldy, short-handed, sends it down. Askarov weaves it there for Chichikov. Afanasyev across to Amirov. He got spun around at center ice by Slaggert. Now Amirov tries his luck again. Works in 1-on-4. Amirov still with it. Afanasyev for Podkolzin, and that's broken up. And Slaggert on the backhand sends it down. Chichikov. Back to offensive. And now picked up by Podkolzin. Vasily Podkolzin, Vancouver first rounder. Winds back in the corner. Podkolzin. Tried to flip that back. It was broken up and sent down the ice by Matthew Beniers.
A lot of passes from the Russians that are the soft, feathery type passes. The Americans have knocked them down and cleared them down the ice. That puck's got to be moved with a little more authority. It's a really good job by the U.S. on the penalty kill.
Kniazev up for Amirov. Amirov. Time winding down the power play. Flips it back at the point. Penalty's over. One shot on that power play. And a late save by Knight. Now the puck moved ahead. In comes Slaggert. That's taken away by Kirsanov. Back in the corner is Kniazev. And Kirsanov pokes out ahead as the U.S. is changing. Polamaria. Lead pass. Groshev with it. Walks it and shoots. Knight makes the stop. Rebound. Bounces back in front. Final minute now of the period. Kaliev. Up into Zegras. And Askarov way out to play it. Up for Groshev. Jumping against Kuznetsov. The puck bounced away from him. Turcotte reaching for it. Now Kuznetsov leads the rush. Groshev winds in. Trying to drop that back. Kaliev plays it back ahead. Chayka. Up ahead for Spinodonov. Works in on Sanderson. And Sanderson takes him off the puck. York. Picks up the puck behind the American goal. Turcotte's got it now. Up to center ice. Zegras couldn't reach it, and Mohamedoulan goes back to pick it up. Shakir Mohamedoulan drops it back to Chichikov. Rink wide he goes. Safonov. And time expires, and the United States and Russia will go to the first intermission tied at 1. It's day 1 of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. Our first intermission with James Duthie and Bob McKenzie is coming up here on TSN.
Crunch time in the NFL. Wild day today. Alvin Kamara, 6 TDs rushing for New Orleans. That'll make it tough for Tom Brady and the Bucs to catch the Saints in the NFC South. That's at noon Eastern time. And then our second game, how about the Dolphins? Perhaps headed to the playoffs in the third wild card spot right now, taking on the Vegas Raiders, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for that one. James Duthie and Bob McKenzie back with intermission number 1. Entertaining as we expected from the Russians and the Americans through 20 minutes. A lot of hype on the two goaltenders, deservedly so, but some shakiness at both ends. Let's start with Askarov.
Yeah, you know, both these guys are potential franchise goaltenders in the National Hockey League. They got oodles of confidence. They both love to handle the puck. And Askarov was really handling the puck a lot. But the goal that was scored by the Americans, whether he thought it was going to be tipped or whether it was even tipped a little, but you can see him, he's really struggling to try and get a line on it. And he gets vision of it a little bit late. And as Ray pointed out during the first intermission, that ultimately ends up being a bad goal, because it was going right into his midsection and it still managed to leak through him. So I'm sure he's going to want to have that one back, but he bounced right back with a huge save where he went basically spread eagle from post to post with his toes shortly after that. So he's not letting that rattle him, but that goal is probably one he would like to have back.
I think you're bang on. I think he overthought it and thought Boldy was going to get a piece of it, and that fooled him a little bit. On the other end was Spencer Knight. Was it more of a puck handling issue early?
Yeah, again, tons of confidence here, and he loves to handle the puck. But even, I thought early on, there was a long shot they took, the Russians, and it just kind of went off the bottom of his glove, and it looked a little casual, and it just looked like he was fighting it just a little bit. There's the dump-in slapper, just went off his glove a little bit. Then he's got this easy outlet pass, and it doesn't get on anybody's tape. It bounces up, no big deal. And then on this one, now maybe this is not the American defensemen not making themselves available, but Spencer Knight basically turned that puck over to the Russians. The Americans never got control of it again, and then the shot from the point. So there's a little chip play to goes to nobody except in a red jersey, and then it ends up back at the point, and then heavy traffic and really no chance on that one with the deflection on Spencer Knight. So both these guys are unflappable though, and I would imagine that they're both going to buckle down and really go the distance here because they're both really good goaltenders. And as that period went on, the Americans started to get a lot more comfortable. The Russians really carried the play early on, so it's all even.
Yeah, when you don't get a shot for 12 minutes and then you end up 8-5, they came back well in that last 8 minutes. And Askarov with that brilliant stretch save just moments after he lets in that bad goal. As for Canada, they debut tomorrow against Germany. We'll preview that next.
Character, integrity, respect. If we bring good sportsmanship on and off the ice, we can help end bullying.
Another triple header on Boxing Day here from the World Juniors. Sweden and the Czech Republic, their first action. Germany lost today to Finland, right back at it against Canada with their depleted lineup, and the U.S. and Austria, but that one in the middle is the one I know you're all focused on. And Canada had its first practice today without captain Kirby Dach, who is out of the tournament and out of the bubble, back to Chicago to get some treatment on that injured wrist. And Andre Tourigny, the coach, was not happy. Stopped practice twice today because he wasn't pleased with his team's focus.
I think he really just wanted us to kind of just go into practice and how we play in the game, and kind of give us our max effort. And it doesn't matter if you're going against your teammates in a battle. You got to compete as hard as the other team and the opponents that will in the upcoming games. So I think he really got his message across, and we picked up our pace.
Meanwhile, Devin Levi impressed in his Team Canada debut, posting a 1-0 shutout against Russia pre-tournament game. 7th round pick of the Florida Panthers was a bit of an unknown to his Canadian teammates, but not anymore.
I never really heard of him, but just coming in and gets shut out first game, that's pretty special. And I think he's going to be a real key piece to our team, and just having the trust in him after that first game is huge for us.
To be completely honest, I didn't really know who he was before the camp, but he came here and he stood out right away. He's so hard to score on in practice. He's such a great player. He's got great positioning, and we definitely trust him as our starter. He gets a shutout against the Russians in his first game. So that's awesome for us, and there's definitely a lot of trust in him. He's a great goaltender.
Dach's injury led to a major reshuffling of lines for Team Canada. Take us through them and tell us Andre Tourigny's thinking.
Well, first off, the absence of Kirby Dach, what it does more than anything else, it changes the whole dynamic. We in Canada love to number lines. First line, second line, third line, fourth line. When Kirby Dach and Dylan Cousins were playing with Jack Quinn, that was the undisputed number one line. But now Cousins has moved onto a different line with Newhook and Holloway. Kirby Dach is out of the lineup, and Jack Quinn is maybe getting a little message sent from his Ottawa 67's head coach and Team Canada head coach Andre Tourigny by being the 13th forward in practice today. The only line that's still intact is Cole Perfetti, Connor McMichael, Peyton Krebs. I guess if you want to number lines, maybe that one gets number one simply on seniority because they were together for the pre-tournament game against Russia. But it really is a balanced attack, and the absence of Dach simply makes that even much more true. So it's whoever's going at any given time, really, for Team Canada.
We won't number the lines, but you see Byfield there as the center of the third line, at least on that sheet. And look, he won a gold medal last year, but wasn't a factor for Canada, which is fine. He's 17. A lot of people aren't factors at 17. Much more expected. And with Dach's injury, much more opportunity potentially for Byfield?
I don't think there's any question about that. And he looked really good in the pre-tournament game against Russia. And early on in the evaluation camp, so conventional hockey wisdom is it takes big guys a little longer to get the motor revving at the high RPMs. Well, he was moving his feet, physically dominating, as you would expect. And that's the most physical I've seen Byfield play that last game against Russia. He was really throwing his body around, was strong on pucks and making things happen. So whoever he's playing with and whatever number line you want to put it on, with the absence of Kirby Dach, you are going to need more from him, and he looks like he's poised to give more. And certainly that year makes a world of difference between your 17-year-old year and your 18-year-old year.
And again, eligible to come back next year, although likely to be in the National Hockey League with the Los Angeles Kings. We are through one period of play here. 1-1, U.S. and Russia. The second just ahead on TSN.
Back here in Edmonton, your first period scoring summary. Vasily Ponomaryov gets the deflection to give Russia a 1-0 lead. Then Cam York does get credit for the first American goal. Assist to Cole Caulfield and Matthew Boldy. The shots were 8-5 in favor of Russia through the first 20 minutes. Gord Miller back here with Ray Ferraro. And Ray, Larionov talked to us about wanting to have a more open style of play. We saw that in the first period.
Wanted his guys to hold the puck, keep the puck. He said this is a way that you play Russian hockey. You play with skill. Watch how the Russians dominate the game early in the first period. It's puck control, it's patience. No hurry, there's nothing in front of them, so they'll regroup, reload, and they had the puck for much of the first 7 or 8 minutes. When the U.S. had a power play, the Russians were by far the more aggressive team. Look how much they pressure up towards the blue line. After the U.S. didn't get anything on that power play, they started to come alive a little bit more aggressively to the net, down 1-0. They get a rebound chance. Great stop by Askarov, but here's some great work. Boldy and Caulfield below the goal line to Cam York, and the U.S. captain floats a wrister that goes between the arm and body of Askarov.
Let's get set.
And it's 1-1.
Nice shot, nice shot.
Team will start this second period 5-on-5. And icing called against the Russians right off the hop. And you mentioned Igor Larionov wants to change a lot of things about the way his team plays. One of them is a lot of these young players play in the KHL, and they play very conservatively. Dump the puck in, get rid of it. He's telling them, hold the puck possession. As he once said to Kevin Constantine in San Jose, the best defense is when I have the puck.
Yeah, but when he had the puck, it's different than when some other guys had the puck. But you know, don't forget too, in the KHL, these guys, of course, are the youngest players in the league. They don't want to make a mistake. They get the puck, they pitch it forward, and it's kind of out of their hands, no danger. And Larionov doesn't want that. He wants them, in his words, to express your joy to play the puck, which would be a great way to play.
I'm going to say not many NHL coaches told you to express the joy.
Oh, are you kidding me? Get it, shoot it forward. Everybody chase after it. Crash into somebody down there and see if you can get it back. It was really a beautiful game back then.
As Brett Hall said, chip it out, chip it up, chip it in. Here's Lacombe back with it. Jackson Lacombe plays at the University of Minnesota for Bob Motzko, the former head coach of the U.S. national junior team.
3 of Motzko's defensemen from the University of Minnesota on this U.S. team.
And here's plays it back in. Bouncing puck in front, that's knocked away by Safonov. Race for it. Chinakhov got in there. That was knocked away from him by Lacombe. Kuznetsov takes the return pass. Kuznetsov plays college hockey at the University of Connecticut. In his second year there, he came to North America as a 16-year-old, learned English, played hockey, and is now in his second year of college. Almost unimaginable.
Really an impressive feat to think about, coming to North America because you want to play hockey, you want to get an education, and you've got to learn English while you're doing it. Calgary very high on Kuznetsov.
He's a business management major. There's Johnson with a shot that goes wide. Afanasiev. Lost the handle, played back across to Johnson. Johnson, long shot, that's knocked down. There's one of the other Minnesota defensemen you talked about. Now moves it back in front, played across. Oh, what a pass there. And just missing was Bobby Brink at the side of the goal.
What a beautiful play that Brink's not able to finish off.
Brett Berard flipped it back to him. Now Brock Faber back to pick it up to Brink. Philadelphia second-round pick in 2019. Drops it back to Johnson, who's Dad Craig played 10 seasons in the NHL, also played in the Olympics for Team USA in 1994, and played in this tournament in 1991 when Doug Waite was an American star for Team USA.
Ryan Johnson can skate. His dad, Craig, could really fly.
Pretty good career. He had 9 years with the Kings and another year with the Ducks.
Have to go anywhere.
Well,
they're not far anyway.
They're in the same metro area, but depending on the time of day.
No, it doesn't matter on the time of day. You can't get from here to there very quickly.
Henry Threaten shot was blocked. A lead pass. Great pass ahead. Hardikov moves in, scores! Zahar Bardakov restores the Russian lead.
The U.S. is so close to taking a 2-1 lead. Beautiful feed from McCabe to Brink. He's got the wide open net and he just shoots it off the side of the net. A block shot and an unbelievable heads-up breakout pass by Maxim Groshev, the Tampa Bay draft pick. Fires this about 110 feet right onto the tape of Bardakov. And Bardakov, who's playing in his first international tournament for Russia, makes it 2-1 as he beats Spencer Knight along the ice.
What a pass, though, as you said, by Groshev. Well, if you're a third-round pick of Tampa like Groshev is, you take Braden Point and Anthony Cirelli. I like your chances of being a good player in the NHL.
Tampa has done an unbelievable job culling players from below the first round. They've done a great job in the first round, but you look at some of the players that are part of that Stanley Cup winning team, and you mentioned Cirelli and Point, and Kucherov was a second-round pick. Killorn was a fourth-round pick. Tyler Johnson was never drafted. They have put together quite a program in Tampa.
Alex Turcotte, one of 9 LA Kings prospects playing in this World Junior Championship. They had 9 last year, too. Fired that wide. It's the hallmark of championship teams in the NHL, Ray. If you look at teams like LA, Chicago, Pittsburgh, they've got 10, 12 players they pick after the first round. They've got those guys they got in the first, but then the foundation is guys that came after.
Well, just think of how much more important that's going to be now with a flat cap at $81 million, right? You're going to have to find these effective players.
Now a steal at center ice by Chinaha. Works in, plays it across for Gritsuk. That's broken up neatly. As Brock Faber got a stick on that. Caulfield back the other way for Team USA. Caulfield moves in a backhand shot. And Askarov makes the stop. He's lost his goal stick. He thought the puck was behind him. And Caulfield gets it back. Oh, backhand pass loose in front. And the puck is scooped up there by Gritsuk. Sure, Askarov thought that puck was in.
Well, what a crafty move by Caulfield, and then Askarov didn't have any idea where it was.
Holding. Spins it back in deep to Beniers. Happy Beniers, the native of Hingham, Massachusetts. Rink wide to go. Spiridonov, a lead pass that just missed Beshkirov. Berard winds his way through center ice. A poke check to the Russian line. A jam up there. Berard lost his stick. For a moment he had Spiridonov's.
And Spiridonov is shaken up, gone to the Russian bench.
Beshkirov moves it ahead and was shot by Bardakov, swept away by Knight. This is actually Spencer Knight's third World Junior. He was the third goaltender for Team USA in Vancouver. Victoria did not play in any of the games that was there. Long pass at center ice. Bardakov chucks it back down in the American zone. Knight out to play it, being watched there. And Ponomaryov almost got there first. Now played back for Kuznetsov. He missed on it.
Just point out again that in international hockey, the goalies can go wherever they want to play the puck, so there's no zone that they can't play the puck in.
Bardakov, the go-ahead goal. Russia up 2-1 here in the second.
An assist in the first period and a sweet move here for Cole Caulfield through his own feet. This puck almost eludes Askarov. He doesn't know where it is as Caulfield shoved the rebound off the side of the net. And here's that Groshev to Bardakov pass. Out into the clear behind Cam York. And it seems like the shot surprises Knight. His stick's not on the ice and the puck goes underneath him into the net.
Earlier today, Slovakia beat Switzerland 1-0. Finland beat Germany 5-3. The Germans had only 14 skaters in that game but played well in it. As Amirov moves in, and now the stocking stuffer tonight. The U.S. and Russia. Amirov a long shot that was blocked by Moynihan.
Good block by Moynihan. He doesn't have a stick, and he is able to make the block and get to the bench.
Amirov winds in. Slaggert couldn't knock it down. Kanayazev. Back to Amirov. To Podkolzin. In tight spaces, Amirov lost the puck, and now it's brought back the other way by Slager. Landon Slager. Shot front is wide of the goal. Chichikov back to pick it up. Semyon Chichikov, a 4th-round pick of Nashville. Across to Mohamedulin. And Mohamedulin works his way in. Lost the puck, and it's picked up by Turcotte. Alex Turcotte. His dad Alfie was a 1st-round pick of the Montreal Canadiens, a Memorial Cup winner with Poland back in '83. Chinaha. Back across to Chichikov. And as he steps in, the play is offside at the American line.
Closed captioning of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Back here in Edmonton on Christmas Day. You're having a safe and happy holiday wherever you're looking in. Kids got to open their presents this morning. Ray and I got to have our nose swab at 9 o'clock as part of our daily testing. Merry Christmas. Hold still. Here comes York with it. Cam York, who has the American goal, flips it rink wide. Bernier's in with a backhand shot. That goes high and wide. By Skirov. Played it back across. That was knocked down by Chayka, who got his own pass back. And now Kuznetsov picks his way out. Weak pass to Vladislav Firstov. Russia is the home team here, has the last change. Igor Larionov is a disciple of Scotty Bowman's and has talked to Bowman a lot this week, but he doesn't appear to be matching lines very much, which is a Bowman trademark.
Bowman trademark, but my guess is that as Larionov played in the form that he didn't like sitting around waiting for the lines to be matched.
Penalty coming up as Bobby Brink got clipped with a stick in the face, so the Americans are going to the power play here. And Bardakov will go off.
Just to finish that off, as a player, you like to stay in the flow. The line match, sometimes you get left out of the flow. And it's funny what your playing career will influence as you coach. Larionov rolling his lines pretty steadily. There's the penalty as Brink takes a high stick into the visor. And the goal scorer, Bardakov, will sit down. This is the second power play for the United States. They didn't have a shot on their first one in the first period.
And you highlighted, Ray, the aggressive penalty kill by the Russians.
The U.S. has to, on the break-in, get that puck down below the tops of the circles. If they're going to pull up in the top 10 feet of the blue line, they're not going to get anything set up.
The first step, win the face-off. Zegras drops it off to Caulfield to York. York to Caulfield. Drops it back off to Zegras to York. Swings it across to Kaliev. A centering pass, bounces back to York. Poked at, but not out by Podkolzin. And the pass by York goes over the glass, and out the face-off will come outside.
That's great.
There's an example of what you have to do with an aggressive penalty kill, and what you can't do is, if you miss a pass, you've got to retrieve it, move it quickly, and try and get them to settle back down, because those Russian penalty killers, they're hunting every puck that's bobbled. Half wall, down in the corner, doesn't matter. Somebody's coming full steam, and there's no time to make a play.
Kuznetsov off the face-off win, just got that out. And York back to pick it up. Boldy drops it back to Zegras, but there's Safonov all over him, and Safonov causing all kinds of problems behind the American net. Brought in now by Boldy. And that pass is picked off. Chinaha drops it back to Amirov, and Amirov plays it right back in. And here is Zegras with it. Inside a minute to go in this penalty. And still not much doing for Team USA in the power play. And there's another pass broken up at center ice by Amirov. Kuznetsov watching Caulfield, who walks in and shoots that ramp high and off the glass. Loose behind the goal, picked up by Zegras. Throws it back at the point for Sanderson. Sanderson plays it across. Caulfield, a hard shot. Askarov the save. Puck still loose. And Askarov finally pounces on it and hangs on.
Part of athleticism and and today's goaltending is the need to battle for the puck. And Askarov is on his hands and knees looking for this puck. This Caulfield one-timer is stopped, but he can't control it. Now he's got to fight it as Boldy loses it once, and now the battle is on for the puck, and Askarov comes out to cover it. Zegras gets crushed into the boards. 9 assists in last year's tournament. There's about 3 places that probably hurts as he tumbles to the ice.
Yeah, Vustudinov stepped into him.
What a nice player Zegras is. A clever passer. Anaheim first rounder from a couple of years ago, and he just moves the puck to the right player at the right time almost every time.
One of the 9 first-round picks in this American roster, 3 taken in the top 10. Is pounded wide by Lacombe. 10 seconds to go on the power play. Turcotte swings it back to Brisson. Takes a return pass from Sanderson. Fans on the shot. Brisson plays it back to Sanderson. Across he goes Lacombe. Trying to feed that rink wide. It's picked off and sent down the ice by Bashkirov. Shots are 9-8 in favor of Russia. 2-1 the Russians lead here in the second period. The U.S. has won 5 straight games against the Russians at the World Junior. The last 11 meetings decided by 2 goals or fewer. And they've played some dandy. Strangely enough, they've never played in the gold medal game. But a quick chance, they score! Ponomaryov walks in and snaps it home. And Ponomaryov's got his second to make it a 3-1 game.
Ponomaryov is the beneficiary of a Jake Sanderson turnover. Sanderson's trying to make a little pass from the corner just into the slot to clear the zone. His pass right here goes right past his centerman. Right past Brett Berard. He thinks Berard's in position for the breakout. Berard doesn't recognize it. It turns out to be a pass right on the tape for Ponomaryov, and he makes no mistake. And Russia has 3 goals on 9 shots. And now Jake Sanderson and the USA is going to have to climb back into this game.
Ponomaryov had 5 goals in 9 games for Shawinigan this year before leaving for the Russian camp. 18 goals last year for them. He's a Carolina second-round pick. Well, a centering pass by Amirov is broken up, and Johnson plays it back across. Faber out to center ice to Brink. Bobby Brink in, fans on it, and Amirov picks it back up. Clark Colson waiting for it. He lost the handle. Picked up by Farinacci. This pass is broken up and sent back to center ice. Lead pass for Brink with Farinacci. Brink walks in and shoots. It goes off a skate wide. That's lumped back in front by Farinacci. And Askarov pounces on that. Farinacci's in there. Chinahov gets into him. And they have to be separated. 2 goals separate Russia and Team USA here in the second period. Canada plays its first game tomorrow, this World Junior Championship, taking on Germany. It starts at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 Pacific, only on TSN. The future of hockey lives here. We mentioned Germany lost today to Finland in their opener, but considering the fact that they have a bare-bones roster, they played pretty well.
I thought they played really well. I mean, that game went to, it was 3-0, 3-2, 5-2, and then 5-3 again. Germany just would not go away.
Chinahov, a lead pass that just missed the intended target. Gritzik. Knight out to play it. That's picked off. Safonov, a long shot, scores!
Oh boy.
Picked off by Safonov. He fires it by Knight, and it's 4-1.
That's going to be Dustin Wolf time here as Spencer Knight, 4 goals on 12 shots. And Dustin Wolf, the Calgary Flames 7th-round pick in 2019, is going to jump into this game. Gord, we talked about the chance of redemption for the goaltenders. Knight is out of the net. He just doesn't get this past Safonov, who flings this back to the net. Knight touches it with his blocker, but he's not able to stop the shot. he'll have to regroup here, as this night, the first night of the tournament, went rather poorly for him.
Gives up 3 goals in the last 4 shots he faced. And remember, last year in his opener against Canada, he was beaten for 5. And so the Russians with a 4-1 lead here with 7.5 to go in the second period. York up ahead to Beniers. Kuznetsov flips that ahead. And York back with it. It's poked away by Spiridonov. This is your 10th World Junior, Ray. Is this the most aggressive you've seen the Russians play?
Yes, most aggressive and also more reliant on their skill than they've been in the past. Not to say Valeri Bragin didn't want his players to play with skill, but it was a more straight-ahead game. This group, under Igor Larionov, wants the puck, they've got it, and they don't want to give it up. We'll see how that translates through the rest of the tournament, but it's looked pretty good tonight.
So Dustin Wolf, a returnee from last year as well, comes on, plays for Everett in the Western Hockey League. He hasn't played this year for them. He had a .935 save percentage last year with 9 shutouts. As you mentioned, a 7th-round pick of Calgary. He played once in last year's tournament, got the win against Germany. He was the Western Hockey League and Canadian Hockey League Scholastic Player of the Year in 2019. Brink with it. Gathers it back. Plays it for Boldy, who flips that back down to the Russian zone. Kanayev goes back to pick it up. Timmy Kanayev, a San Jose 2nd-round pick, brings it around. And Helleson goes back for it. Sanderson. Up to Fernucci. Fernucci couldn't quite reach it. And here comes Amirov. Already on Amirov. Moves around Helleson, who staples him into the corner boards. But again, aggressive on the forecheck. Here's Nadinov, got a stick on it. Now Puck Colson. Moves away from Sanderson. Puck Colson. Long shot. Wolf makes the stop. And he's able to hang on. 4-1, Russia leads here on day 1 of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. Time now for the Gatorade shift of the game.
At 1-1, Bobby Brink misses an open net. Later in the shift, Maxim Groshev with a gorgeous feed. Straight up the ice to Bardakov. He beats Cam York up the ice. And this goes right underneath the stick of Spencer Knight through his legs, and Russia has a 2-1 lead that they've since stretched to 4-1.
Gatorade, rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Chipped out by Colangelo. And now at center ice, Chinahov with a bouncing puck, flips it back. Hits it the long drive, and Wolf knocks that away. Faber. And 2 Russian players all over him at the side of the goal. Chinahov trying to knock it down. Safonov plays it back. Chichikov plays it back at the point. That's knocked to the side of the goal for Gritsu. Now Mohamedulin winds and shoots. That goes wide. We saw that a lot at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup of the summer of 2019. Mohamedulin loves to shoot the puck. The guidance system needs some work.
It's funny, you know, some guys have a knack and they just never miss the net. Other guys get better at it, and some guys never can quite figure it out.
Turcotte back to Zegras. York with a hard shot. Kicked away by Askarov. Played back in front for Caulfield. That's knocked away. York to the side of the goal. Askarov looking back, but he's got it.
Really good shift here. Really good push from the U.S. as they try to get themselves back into this game. A deflection by Turcotte at the end that rattles around between the legs of Askarov. He's looked behind him 2 or 3 times in this game. York's shot is deflected once. It hits him in the belly and then rolls down between his legs, and he's not really sure where it is. It's underneath him, but he's going to take a peek behind before the whistle is blown.
Afanasyev Turns it over. As he forces the turnover, Spiridonov couldn't quite reach that pass to Afanasiev, and now lifted up by Zegras. That's gloved down by Kuznetsov. Lead pass for Spiridonov just missed. Icing waved off. As Thrun goes back for it. At the line, Kuznetsov couldn't hold it. Now Thrun back with it. Across to York. Lead pass to Caulfield to Turcotte. With Zegras. Drop back to Caulfield. Turcotte now. Behind the goal. Caulfield had that bounce away. Here's Sanderson with it. Sanderson to Zegras. Caulfield a centering pass for Turcotte with a chance to score the save. A long rebound. Bounces back at the point. Sanderson couldn't handle it. Grosjev working in. In comes Grosjev. And he flipped that high and wide. The puck flipped on him. And Grosjev couldn't get it to sit for it. Caulfield works back in with Beniers. Beniers a long shot. Mascarov fights that off. Another long rebound. Picked up this time by Bardakov. With Ponomaryov. He's got 2 so far tonight. And Boldy up ahead for Beniers. Here's a long shot. Mascarov the save. And there's no rebound.
Last year, Maxim Grosjev played just 20 minutes total in the tournament. He really has size and speed, and he pulls away from the U.S. defense for a breakaway. This puck hits the shaft of the stick of Dustin Wolf, up the blocker and off the shaft. Oh, or it's 5-1. Grosjev pulls away from Sanderson and Lacombe. And a powerful stride. Wolf makes a difficult stop.
"17 games played for Grosjev in the KHL for Nizhny. He has just 2 assists, but again, to underline the fact that in that league, teenagers don't get a lot of ice time, and they have expanded rosters as well. So it'll be hard to get some ice time. Plays offside at the U.S. line.
There's a disappointed Spencer Knight. 4 goals against on 12 shots. Here's the one that ended his night as he clears the puck up the boards, and he can't get back quick enough as Safonov has an open net and rifles it off the blocker. Trevor Zegras and Cam York go to pat him on the pads, knowing it's been a long one and they'll need Knight again, certainly in this tournament.
The U.S. plays Austria tomorrow. Russia plays the Czechs on Sunday.
Now that might change what Nate Lehman's goaltending plans were. As you have Austria tomorrow, my thought is you go right back with Knight.
Gerard across the line with Johnson. Shoulders up a leg.
Where Wolf would likely have had to start tomorrow.
Right.
I think if he's your guy, you got to get him right, and he is their guy. You got to get him back in the net.
Jam play at the side of the goal by Berard. Askarov is down, and he makes the stop. There's some late pokes that the Russians don't like.
Brett Berard's a 5th-round New York Rangers draft pick. He's impressed me in the game and a half that we've seen here. Their pre-competition game and against Finland, and then this one. He plays hard. He gets to the net. He's not shy about getting into traffic. Not a big guy, just 5'9". He's listed at about 152 pounds. But man, he's got some courage because he sticks his nose in and drove himself right to the front of the net for a scoring chance there.
Off the face-off, Chinahoff pokes that back down to the U.S. zone, and Zegras back to pick it up. Flips it ahead for York. Cam York and across the line for Caulfield. Zegras pokes it ahead. And now Turcotte races to it. Back in behind the Russian goal, and Askarov doesn't miss a chance to play the puck. Turned over those Zegras. Yanks it back around. York, a long shot, and Askarov gloves it. He'll hang on.
While it's important every year to remember, I think in this 2020 tournament into 2021, you have to remember most of these players have not played very much. And so while these games are important for your seeding and where you're going to finish, Nate Lehman has to get guys into the swing of things here, into the flow. A lot of players have played under a handful of games. It's impossible to think that they would have any rhythm to their game at all.
Well, we talked about it before the tournament, Ray, that the European teams would have an advantage. In their leagues, they take national team breaks. This Russian team's been playing together all year. You know, the players have been playing regularly, so it's been a very different situation. So early on in the tournament, at least, you would think that a lot of the European teams might have an edge.
And I think it can also play into an advantage for Sweden that it had all kinds of misfortune before they got here. That 52-game winning streak doesn't mean anything for them. What does matter is that they get their game in order, and they've got 4 games to do so.
In a tough group. The U.S. with the Czechs, the Swedes, and Austria. So the 4 potential medal round teams are all pretty high pedigree teams. Boldy, a long shot, hit a leg in front. Inside a minute to go now in the second period. Kaliev a shot, Askarov looking back again.
He has not struck me as rock solid tonight. There's been more than a few times he's made the save and has to search for where the puck is next.
Chichikov plays it back down in the U.S. zone, and Wolf leaves it there for Sanders and spun around by Ponomarev, who's got 2 tonight. And now Slaggert with it. Landon Slaggert, native of South Bend, Indiana. And plays college hockey right at home at Notre Dame. And he's drafted by Chicago, which plays right across the lake from Notre Dame.
And to add familiarity, his dad's the associate head coach there as well, so not too far from home.
Some pushing and shoving breaking out here as time expires at the end of the second period. And the Russians strike with 3 and take a 4-1 lead after 40 minutes. It's day 1 of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. Our second intermission is coming up with James Duffy and Bob McKenzie.
Years, Esso has supported Canadian hockey with programs like the Esso Medals of Achievement, Esso Fun Days, and the Esso Cup through our long-standing partnership with Canada's national teams. Esso, proud premier partner of Hockey Canada.
NBA on TSN continues Sunday. 3 games on tap, 3 World Junior games, 3 NBA games on the TSN family of networks. It begins with a clash between the Mavs and the Clippers. Action gets underway 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Keeps rolling all day long here on TSN. Bob McKenzie and James Duthie back with you. Some shades of last year when Canada lost to Russia 6-0 in the second game of that tournament and felt like the sky was falling. I'm not sure if they're there for the Americans yet, but that was a tight, close 1-1 game, and then the Americans kind of crumbled. What happened?
Well, it's very much a game of inches, and there were a couple of plays in particular that led to Russian goals where the Americans were just off by a little bit. And the first one was when defenseman Cam York was on the blue line, and the puck is deep in the end, and you can see there York just allows Bardakov to get in behind him. Great pass by Groshev, but just that momentary hesitation. And then right here, Jake Sanderson's got it on the wall. He sees Berard curling, just an inch or 2 away from the stick of Berard, and it ends up in the back of the net. So 2 plays, turn a 1-1 game into 3-1 very quickly in less than 8 minutes.
You said you were concerned about Spencer Knight's puck handling in our first intermission, and that proved both accurate and prophetic because that led to his downfall and his yanking.
Yeah, just a little bit off, and we saw that in the first period where, and again, puck handling is a two-way street. It's not just the goalie. The defensemen have to make themselves available. Maybe the defensemen weren't available on that one, but whatever way you slice it, it was a turnover off the stick of Knight. It was never cleared. They never got possession back, and there was no chance for Knight on that one. But this one, here it is. It's 3-1. Not only does he give the puck away up the boards, but he's also unable to make the save as he's out of position. And suddenly it's 4-1, and Spencer Knight's night is over. 4 goals on 12 shots. So, hey, listen, junior hockey, you can be as good as Spencer Knight, as good as Askarov was last year, and sometimes, as they say, the bear eats you, and sometimes you eat the bear.
Well, I mentioned that game with Canada last year. Just in terms of comparison, Knight was pulled after the 4th Russian goal. Nico Dawes was pulled after the 4th Russian goal last year. Joel Hofer came in and went the rest of the way for Canada in the tournament. Canada wins gold. Hofer wins best goalie. I'm not saying Dustin Wolf's going the rest of the way, but it's early in the tournament, and the Americans in trouble, down 3 goals after 2 periods of play. 2 of those goals coming from Vasily Ponomaryov, and he has an interview right now with our Ryan Rashog.
Well, Vasily, lots of offense from your team. Maybe talk about your head coach and how he encourages you to be creative as a group to generate that offense.
Yeah, I think maybe more of our team playing with offense, but our line, we are playing like garbage hockey. We just throw it and go on the net.
You have 2 goals tonight. I don't know that I would call that garbage hockey. That has to be a confidence boost for you and your line.
Yeah, it's just God with me.
Happy with it so far? You feel like this team is coming together? You've played together for a while, but it's a little different here.
Yeah, I like to play in the small rink, and I think each game will be better like whole team.
All right, best of luck in the third.
Thank you.
In 30 seconds, I'm a big fan of Vasily Ponomaryov. 2 goals so far. We'll look at the other 2 games today when we return here on the World Juniors on TSN.
Premier partner of Hockey Canada, Tim Hortons has supported minor hockey for over 35 years through the Timbits Hockey Program and its commitment to developing teamwork, confidence, and social skills in an inclusive environment. Timbits Hockey, where the first goal is having fun.
Hey, if you were busy doing, present and family stuff, we forgive you. Here's your recap. Switzerland, Slovakia, scoreless in the third. Slovakia on the attack, and it's Roman Fight getting the rebound in front. First rule of Fight Club. Score the first goal of the tournament. Slovakia takes a 1-0 lead. A few minutes later, Swiss on the power play trying to even things up. But Simon Lakotsi, who was just brilliant all day in the Slovak net. Look, it's the save of the tournament. I know it's the first game of the tournament. It was the first really good save, but just play along. 28 saves for the shutout. Slovakia beats the Swiss. 1-0 is your final. Germany, Finland, early first. Some terrific passing by the Finns. Germans only had 14 skaters in this game. And Anton Lundell, the captain, the Florida first rounder, with the goal. It's 1-0 Finland. Germans hung around, though, mostly because of these 2 guys. John Paterka to Tim Stützle. Sens fans, get giddy. Germany down 3-2. Still in the second. Tapi Niemala. For a bunch of traffic. Finland wins 5-3. Gritty effort, though, by the Germans. And I guess that means for Canada, the game plan tomorrow, pretty much stop Tim Stützle and you should be fine, right?
Yeah, and well, you'd be interested to see how much energy he's got left in the tank because, as you said, they're undermanned. Stützle, 26 minutes. Let that marinate for a moment. 26 minutes, and he was fantastic. What a goal. Really difficult. Not right in the right wheelhouse, but he still managed to get his stick on it. 1 goal, 1 fantastic assist. That would be this one. Circle the wagons, come around. Get a nice primary assist on a goal by Elias, and makes a real strong effort to keep the Germans in a game where they were totally undermanned. But boy, he's dynamic. Got real physical in the third period, kind of got beat up himself on that attempted hit, and then got mixed up a little bit after that where he got thrown to the ice a few times. So a tough day, but a good day in its own way for Stützle, and now they got to come back and do it quickly against Team Canada tomorrow.
Only professional scout allowed in the building is TSN Director of Scouting Craig Button, and he and all the other scouts watching on TV have to be excited about the 2022 draft.
Yeah, really. When you look at the performance of a couple of kids that we saw today, start with Brad Lambert, the Finnish forward by way of Saskatoon, and the Lambert family, his uncle Lane, his dad Ross. He was dynamic in this game, end-to-end rushes, lots of shots on the power play, just really dangerous every time he had the puck on his stick. And, I mean, he was playing in their top 6. He's on their power play. Really good. And here's an interesting guy, Juraj Slavkovsky, 6'4", 214-pound, 16-year-old for Slovakia. Boy, oh boy, he's got a chance to be a first-round pick in 2022, and he was really good in this game and noticeable as well. Real command there, lots of confidence. So fun day on the 2022 draft watch.
And again, that game between Canada and Finland, New Year's Eve, it's super early, but if all things go as planned, that one should decide this group. This game, perhaps already decided. We'll see. World Juniors have had some major comebacks before the
After 2 periods of play, Russia leads 4-1. 3 goals on 4 shots in one sequence in that second period. Bardakov on the breakaway, Ponomaryov his second, then Safonov on a turnover by Spencer Knight. That was the end of the night for him. And the shots are even at 15 apiece after 2 periods of play. Roy Miller back here with Ray Ferraro. And Ray, it's worth pointing out, we talked at the start of the broadcast about Spencer Knight and Yaroslav Askarov getting a second chance in this tournament. It's gone kind of opposite ways for the two of them.
Yeah, it didn't go very well for Spencer Knight, and 14 of 15 saves for Yaroslav Askarov in the Russian goal. He didn't have much to do in the first half of the first period. The first U.S. shot came 12 minutes in, and then he made a couple of remarkable stops, showing off his agility, his aggressiveness. Yet there's been times tonight where he's fought the puck. He's made some stops and not been able to find it. Yet there's other times when he just follows it, tracks it. He's right in front of it. He's quick, he's fast, he's big at 6'4", and he is the backbone of this Russian team. Now, Spencer Knight had a game that he'll want to wipe away. Maybe he'll get a chance tomorrow against Austria, but Askarov's done the job for 40 minutes tonight.
20 more, fellas, let's go. Let's get set here. Drop it, drop it, drop it.
Dudinov broke his stick, and right away, referee Olivier Gouin telling him to drop it. And a chance off the hopper as Wolf plays it across. Spencer Knight is not on the U.S. bench at the moment.
Well, I just looked over there. I wondered if he's down in the runway, but he's not there either.
Caulfield backhands it ahead, knocked down by Mohamedulin, who plays it back down to the American line. York, who has the American goal. Up for Zegras, who chips it back down to the Russian zone. Askarov. It's picked off by Zegras. Turcotte. Back at the point for Caulfield, skips off his stick and back out to center ice, and Knight is now back on the U.S. bench. Chinahaw. Drops it back to Kuznetsov. The pass too far for Chayka. In comes Beniers with it. Beniers shoots. Askarov has that puck stick to his pad, and play is stopped.
He makes a lot of saves where his head's on a swivel, where he can't find the puck. Askarov makes another one there off Matty Beniers. Beniers gets outside and slides this along the ice. It's under his pad, but he still doesn't know what's there. He's going to look around and fish around as Matt Boldy is digging away at the front of the net. Late in that second period, the U.S. flipped Caulfield and Kaliev on their top 2 lines. Caulfield going with Zegras and Turcotte. Now, Kaliev moving with Boldy and Beniers. There is Matt Beniers, who likely will be a relatively high first-round pick this year.
He's born in 2002, so he doesn't have to wear a full face shield. He wasn't drafted in 2020 because he's a late birthday. Born in late 2002, so players born after September 15th in their birth year have to wait an extra year for the draft. There's Sanov. To Kanayazev. And Bashkirov backhanded to center ice. Spiridonov a long shot, and Wolf steers that away. Now pass back in front and just bounced away from Bashkirov. Kaliev lays that in deep. Kanayazev plays it across. Here's Spiridonov with it. Up ahead to Bashkirov. Afanasyev moving in. Now drop back. Bardakov in, shoots. He ripped that wide. And Bashkirov plays it back to Mohamedulin. They don't dump it in much, do they, Red?
No, this is not a team that's going to chip it and chase it. They want to hold it. They want to contain it through the neutral ice. It's 1-on-4. And that puck is still not dumped in as Ponomaryov goes and gets it deep into the corner.
Mohamedulin keeps it alive. Picked out by Brink. And the puck goes back to center ice.
Gord, just to your point earlier, Spencer Knight has come back to the U.S. tunnel, standing deep in the tunnel behind the U.S. doctor.
Puck gets by. Chayka was back to pick it up. Daniel Chayka had 11 goals with golf last year as a defenseman in the OHL in his second year in that league.
Eligible for the draft this year.
And Chayka holds the line. Drop back. Gritsuk with a chance. And the stop is made by Wolf.
It's an example of some really good puck work by the Russians as they move it twice and end up with a shot from about 35 feet that Dustin Wolf turns aside. Wolf has stopped all 5 since he's come into the game. It's a quick up from Chayka, and look how quickly they get onto the attack. They've got the Americans now outnumbered, and it's these 2 passes right here. From the defenseman down the boards to Safonov out to the slot and quickly delivered to the net.
Kursanov's shot is tipped wide. Dustin Wolf, by the way, was the Canadian Hockey League Goalie of the Year in 2019. Has Everett had some good goaltending in recent years? Carter Hart, and then him.
Well, pretty solid in that position. Everett's been a good defensive team, it seems, forever.
Right.
Since Kevin Constantine was there.
Lead pass finds Slager, the centering pass, missed Moynihan. Now Brisson with a sharp angle shot, that was knocked away. Kanayev was taken down. And Podkolzin got bumped there by Slager at the American line, and Podkolzin is going back slowly to the Russian bench.
Took a shoulder up high. I think he took the shoulder pad right in the mouth.
Spiridonov hacks at it. And play is called.
There is Podkolzin as he's getting a look at the Russian bench. 3rd year at the World Junior Tournament for Podkolzin. That's a late hit from Slager, and actually it's his helmet that I believe that hits Podkolzin up near the mouth. Yeah, that doesn't feel very good. Fortunately, Podkolzin is fine.
Henry Thrun out in the center ice, knocked down by Chichikov. And Thrun swings back to pick it up. At the line. Afanasyev couldn't quite hold it. Bashkirov plays it around. Here's Caulfield waiting for it for Team USA. Caulfield got bumped hard by Bashkirov. Jake Sanderson moves it ahead to Zegras. Sanderson, a sharp angle shot, that's gloved by Askarov.
For 4 years, teams have done amazing things to raise the Chevrolet Good Deeds Cup. But this year, ideas triumph. What would you do with $100,000 for your community?
Vasily Podkolzin burst onto the scene here in Edmonton in this arena in the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup. He was dynamite for the Russians. He had 8 goals in 5 games. As you mentioned, Ray playing in his 3rd World Junior. He has 1 goal in 14 previous games at the World Junior.
I don't know if he's going to score a lot of goals at the next level.
Now Beniers with a chance, drops it back to Boldy.
But he's such a powerful kid. I think he's going to be an effective player, more as a complementary player with some very good players.
Bardakov was all over Lacombe there. Lacombe finally fought him off and moved it ahead to Boldy. Boldy in on Kuznetsov, who steered him to the corner. Boldy back with it. Throws the puck back to Lacombe, to Boldy. Boldy poke check by Kuznetsov. Boldy throws it back in front, picked off by Bardakov. He's got Groshev with him. That was a scoring combination for the Russians in the 2nd period. Groshev a great long pass to Bardakov on the breakaway. And Lacombe back with it. Up for Kursanov, that missed. Gerard leaves it back for Brink. Jumping in is York. York got spun around the corner. Safonov took it away from Farinacci. Now Chinahov banks it back across. Kanayev up for Kursanov. In on Johnson. And Kursanov battles forward in the corner. Kursanov back to Safonov. York comes Gritsuk. And Gritsuk moves around York with it. Gritsuk flips that back to Muhammadullah. Plays it back across, and the long shot by Chichikov is gloved by Wolf. 4-1, Russia leads here in the 3rd period. Time now for Gear Up with Skip the Dishes, and we look behind the Russian bench at a legend, Igor Larionov, who takes over from Valery Bragin as the head coach of the Russian national junior team. He doesn't stand on the boards like Bragin used to during stops in play, but he does something else. He gives every player a fist bump on the way off the ice after the period. Bragin used to give every player a stare down on the way off the ice. Skip the Dish is the official food delivery app of Hockey Canada. Has brought a different approach. Bragin had good success with the Russian team, by the way.
Yes, he did.
They won medals in 7 of the last 8 years. 1 gold in the last 17 years, however. Look at the side of that.
Oh, crossbar.
Crossbar. Point blank there for Brisson. Mirov fires it down. The one thing you'd say, Ray, over that streak is the Russians haven't had great goaltending. Vasilevsky was good, but even he struggled at times. They haven't had that kind of star net minding in recent years, especially that other nations have had.
There always seemed to be that there was another gear that they couldn't quite get to. There's Brendan Brisson, who was drafted in the first round by Vegas, number 29 this year. A wrap play around the front of the net, and from in tight, Brisson's going to go up over top of Askarov. Watch here, Jake Sanderson. He's got no stick. Whoop, he grabs one from the bench, and he makes a nifty play. Now, it looks kind of like a cluster, but that's some really great footwork from Sanderson because he doesn't have a stick. He's got to turn to get one and then pivot to make a play. Otherwise, that's a 2-on-1 for Russia.
He can really motor like his dad did. Jeff Sanderson was a great skater. In fact, Jake's grandparents lived just outside Edmonton in St. Albert. He played some minor hockey in Calgary. Turcotte throws that towards the goal. That bounces wide. Afanasiev gains center ice, plays it across. Beshkirov drops it back. Long shot. Taken there by Spiridonov. Kaliev plays it around. Zegras for Turcotte. Turcotte works it and shoots. He fired that wide. By the way, we talked about Valery Bragin, who's now the head coach of the Russian men's national team. Sanov for Kanayazev.
I think a highlight for you in this tournament was when he said hi after about 15 years.
I speak a tiny bit of Russian, and I said to him, "Privyet," and he finally, after 7 years, said, "Hello."
That was a speech.
Long shot drifts wide. There's Groshev with it. Pops it back to Kanayazev. And Kanayazev pivots back in the corner.
This has been an impressive third period for Russia here, defending the 4-1 lead, but defending it in the offensive 100 feet of the ice, never really under too much stress, other than the Brisson goal post just a few moments ago.
Ponomaryov up ahead for Gritsyn, in on Sanderson. Gritsyn, rink wide pass to Mohamedullah.
He is not shy to get out the ice.
And I think he's even playing restrained here. At the under-18s, he was way more involved in this. Chinahov drops it off, and Shishnikov moved in, but a crease violation is called against the Russians. The face-off will come outside. Shishnikov thought he had one there.
The U.S. is back on their heels here. They look like they've lost their legs a little bit, Gord, in this third period. And we've talked a couple of times about the difference between the European teams that have played quite a bit more games than the North American teams. As you saw, Gritzyk's allowed to get to the front of the net. He can't park himself in the blue paint. And when that right foot got in there, the official blew it down pretty quickly.
Amirov, rink wide for Kusnedinov. He was puck Colson, but that play was broken up by Hellison. Rink was in behind Chayka. He knocked that away. Now Berard has it at center ice. Berard moves in. Long shot. Askarov kind of juggled that. Now the side of the goal. Berard drops it back. At the point is Faber. Faber. Pitches back in deep to Brink. His pass goes back to Hillson. A long shot. Askarov to save. Rebound. Score! Farinacci on the rebound. And the United States is down by 2 with 10 to go in the third period.
That's a great move and finish by Farinacci. Playing this year in Muskegon at the USHL. He's at Harvard. With Harvard not playing, he went back to the USHL, and after a really good shift, good work here down low to get the puck to Hellison. His shot is stopped, and Farinacci takes it backhand to forehand, and he's going to get it up over top of Askarov. Nifty little move here, and then this goes up into the top of the net. The Arizona third rounder from 2019 makes it 4-2, and the U.S. aren't gone yet. There's 10 minutes left.
I mentioned he plays at Harvard. His uncle, Ted Donato, is the head coach there and is an assistant coach here with Team USA. So life for the United States. We saw Askarov kind of juggle that one earlier. There's an issue at the Russian bench.
Igor Larionov is talking to the officials. The trainers are looking at Husnudinov. Something is amiss. Oh, you know what? Askarov doesn't have a mask, I don't think, either with him. Here's the goal again. Faber's going to get that puck down low. It comes back to Hellison, and Hellison takes the Brink pass. His wrist shot gets all the way through, stopped just in front of the net, but that's a nifty little move by Farinacci to take it from backhand to forehand and put it in the top of the net.
And in behind Husnudinov, who's being looked at, they're working on Askarov's mask, so that's the delay. Now you're given a quote-unquote reasonable amount of time to get the mask fixed before you have to put your backup in.
One of the funniest things I ever saw was we were playing in Atlanta, and Damian Rhodes' mask broke. Or rather, Norm Miracle's mask broke.
Okay.
And he didn't have a spare, so he tried to get into Damian Rhodes' mask.
Oh.
Let's say they were built differently. Normie was a little rounder.
Yeah.
That thing fit.
They put it on with a hammer?
It just, and we told him on the bench, Norm, you look great. It fits perfectly. They're trying to fix a couple of screws on the mask of.
Well, I think they're using one for spare parts for the other.
Watch this play. Faber's in deep. Brink is going to make a crisp cross-seam pass to Hellison. This shot is stopped. A little bump in front of the net as Husnudinov can't get the U.S. forward out of the way. And Farinacci's going to beat Kuznetsov to the rebound. There's the stop. Kuznetsov steps out looking for the puck, but it goes to the right. Backhand, forehand, and Farinacci's made it 4-2. We've got replacement parts in. Askarov ready to go, and it's 4-2.
Shots are 21-19 in favor of the United States. Picked up by Shkirov, dropped back. Afanassiev's shot was blocked in front. Turcotte can't club it down, and now Thrun back to pick it up.
It goes without saying, Gord, the next minute or two here is pretty critical. Is if the U.S. can get themselves even a couple of good chances, they'll feel like they're in it.
Centering pass just missed Kaliev. This is Turcotte, Zegras, and Kaliev back together. Afanassiev in across the American line. The long shot knocked away by Wolf. Kaliev picks it back up. Throws it back down to the Russian zone. Chichikov took a hard bump there from Zegras. And Ponomarev closes quickly on Sanders, and two world-class skaters there.
Wow, can he really go out in the open ice? Ponomarev got really going.
And look at Sanderson come back the other way. The centering pass missed Moynihan. Look at the penalty since early in the second period.
Just 3 in the game.
Ellison to Moynihan. Long shot. Askarov glove save. Another pile up in the Russian crease. And he's got the loose puck. New life for Team USA as John Farinacci gets them back within 2.
Well, Senators' first-round pick, Jake Sanderson, bouncing back nicely after a turnover earlier in the evening. I talked to Pierre Dorion about their interview with him before the draft. He said he was incredibly impressed. One of the head scouts decided to test him a little bit, threw some fastballs at him, tried to throw him off. Dorion said he handled himself incredibly well, really impressed them, said this is a guy that is mature well beyond his years, Gord.
Taken 5th overall by Ottawa, 2 picks after the Tim Stützle in the last NHL draft. Boldy a backhand shot, that goes wide.
Stützle put on quite a performance today for a vastly undermanned German team. Hung in against Finland 5-3.
Only had 9 forwards and 5 defensemen in the game.
Can't imagine they're going to have a lot of gas to play tomorrow against Canada.
Lacombe tried to center it. Boldy knocks it down. Askarov dives across. The puck's still loose. Good pressure here by Team USA. Caulfield with it. Askarov, no goal stick. Knocks that away. Now Kuznetsov can't clear it out. Caulfield back on it. Still no stick for Askarov. He finally retrieves it. And Caulfield moves around. Here comes Cole Caulfield. Walks in, goes behind his back. Caulfield trying to center it. Still loose in front of the goal. Great pressure now by Team USA. Lacombe back with it. And the puck moves the zone.
What a play.
Picked up. Chinahoff moves it alone. Chinahoff in, stopped by Wolf.
What a strong play by Chinahoff at the end of a dominant U.S. shift, where the wheels come off for Askarov in the net, but the puck somehow stays out.
Now Podkolzin moves in. Vasily Podkolzin with a shot, and that's ripped wide. Amirov. Forster Sanov, who's jumped in. Kuzhdudinov took his man down, penalty coming to Russia. And so now with 7:17 to go in the third period, Team USA is going in the power play as Kuzhdudinov goes off for the trip.
That was a pretty intense 45 seconds of hockey. Here's the offensive zone penalty by Kuzhdudinov. He doesn't really get much into break, but break goes down. This is an unbelievable play by Chinahoff. He gets underneath Lacombe in the clear, and he ends up rifling it wide of Dustin Wolf. Here's Askarov. Now, I know he's athletic. This seems to be a little excessive. He's swimming around the crease, and I remember the goaltender for the Philadelphia Flyers, Doug Favell, and they said he played like a bowl of Jello without the bowl. And that's exactly what Askarov looked like there.
At the point, Caulfield walks in and shoots, and Askarov fights that off.
And then he makes a save like that, where he holds his ground and turns it aside.
Remember when Marty Turco started with Dallas, the way he handled the puck, the Stars said, great player, just has to decide what position he wants to play.
Marty Turco could move the puck.
Boldy has that knocked away. He
might have moved it better than anyone else on that defense other than Zubov. The rest of the guys were giants, and you just couldn't get anywhere near them.
York. That's for Kaliev, who scored twice in a round-robin meeting between the U.S. and Russia last year. Now Caulfield back at center ice with a key power play here for Team USA. And you talked about it earlier, the Russians very aggressive on the kill. Turcotte swings it across to Kaliev. Waiting for it is Zegras. Led the tournament with 9 assists a year ago. Zegras lays it down to Turcotte. Back to Zegras. Feeds it across. Kaliev in, shoots. Askarov save. Rebound loose in front. Askarov down still. The centering pass was knocked away by Spiridonov, who takes the pass from Bashkirov. Spiridonov works in. Trying to get around York. That's broken up. And Zegras back with it. Fresh legs on the ice for Team USA. 30 seconds to go on this power play. Sanderson wheels it back to Brink. In comes Bobby Brink with it. Brink tried to throw that back. It's picked off and sent down the ice by Amirov. And Sanderson back to pick it up. Long lead pass. That finds Beniers. Matthew Beniers flips it across. Brisson with it. 2 shots for the U.S. on the power play. Kuzhdudinov steps back on. At the point is Sanderson. And that shot fired wide by Brisson. Brisson gets it back. Hit a goal post earlier in this period. Drops it back to Sanderson. Jake Sanderson, lots of traffic, in, shoots it. Hit the leg of Bardakov. Kusnudinov lined up by Brisson. And Bardakov plays it ahead for Ponomaryov. And Vasily Ponomaryov lays that down in the American zone. 4.5 to go in the third period. Three games tomorrow, starting with Sweden and the Czech Republic at noon local time. There's Brett Berard with it. Loose in the corner as Berard gets muscled off the puck by Kirsanov. Afanasiev. That rink-wide pass was chopped down by Colangelo. Up for Berard, who fires it back down to the Russian zone. And Askarov lays it back across. Kanayazev moves his way through center ice. Artemi Kanayazev pulls, jumps it back for Kusnudinov. That's gloved down. Johnson broke that play up. Now Bud Colson back with it. And a race forward in the corner. Moynihan took a hard bump from Amirov there. And it's scooped up by Faber. Oh, look out, that shooting goes up and out. And with 3:29, play is stopped. 4-2 Russia leads on day one of the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship against the United States. We'll never guess the celebrities behind the masks and the moves. Get into the new dancing sensation, The Masked Dancer. The new series starts Sunday at 8, 7 Mountain, only on CTV. If the dancer favors his left leg a lot, it's Ray.
Oh, you'd be able to tell me dancing on that show, all right.
Here's Caulfield, fields it across, pass in front for Turcotte, just missed. Hits it. Up ahead for Safonov. And Safonov takes down front, another penalty coming to Russia. And so the Americans go on the power play here again with 3:05 to go. And now you start to think about maybe Nate Lehman pulling his goaltender. You got a 5 or a 6 on 3 if he wants it. Sorry, 6 on 4 if he wants it.
Second offensive zone penalty.
Number 24, 2-minute stripping.
Safonov, oh, look at that. His stick goes right into the blade of Thrun. That's the potential for something bad to happen. As it goes in, you can easily corkscrew an ankle in there.
So Wolf is kind of halfway to the blue line.
Nate Lehman was talking to Zegras, and he said if we win the draw, Wolf is going to come.
What's your philosophy on this? You'd like them to wait a minute?
No, I want them to get possession in the zone first. I would have gone ahead with it as they're down 2, mainly because their power play's been terrible tonight.
Here's Zegras with it. Drops it back, Kaliev holds and shoots. Just missed high and wide. Wolf goes.
That's the guy you want shooting it.
The extra skater comes on, it's Beniers. Beniers in the high slot, shoots, goes off the leg of Muhammad. Still loose in front, that's foot wide by Beniers. So 6 on 4 for the U.S. Caulfield leaves it there. Zegras across to York. Back to Zegras, in shoots, scores! Power play goal for Trevor Zegras, and the United States is back within 1.
Trevor Zegras is a good player. Unbelievable passer. He had 9 assists last year in the tournament in the 5 games. So this is his first goal in the World Juniors. It's a power play marker. 6 on 4. You win the puck battle first. The extra man allows the U.S. to get traffic in front of the net. Matthew Boldy's in front. Askarov can't find it. And Zegras' shot is perfect. Off the goal post and in. And the U.S. with 2 goals here in the third period, after the Russians had played almost a perfect 10 minutes, it's now 4-3.
Okay, so now you got 2:18 left.
Plenty of time still. I'm not going inside of 90 seconds, but I want the goalie to stay in the net until I get possession in the offensive zone. It drives me wild when the goalie comes out before you get possession and they just spin and shoot it into the empty net. Give yourself a chance here.
Afanasiev moves it back into center ice, poked in by Spiridonov.
The other thing, Gord, we talk about it every year. These are teenagers. Panic sets in a little easier. Maybe Russia doesn't defend as well as they were 10 minutes ago.
Shika shoots it in. Inside 2 to go now in the third period. Faber, long lead pass for Farinacci, who had a key goal here in the third period for Team USA. Kirsanov drops it back. And Amirov with it now. Rodion Amirov in across the line. Amirov works in, shoots. Wolf makes the save. The rebound knocked away from Ustedinov. Now Kanayev couldn't hold the line for Russia. Looks ahead for Ustedinov. Across the puck, Colson. Amirov walks in, a backhand shot, and blocked by a sprawling Cam York. Kirsanov swings back to pick it up. U.S. can't get possession here to get the goalie out. But Colson back for Kanayev. And Kanayev, unforced error there, throws it down the ice. Icing called against the Russians. The face-off back down to their zone.
Well, Kanayev thought there was a winger there. They were changing. Oh. Here's another look at the goal. York finds Zegras and his shot goes through the Boldy screen and it's 4-3. You can see Askarov's looking for it. He can't find it. And now it's a 1-goal game. So on that icing call, the Russians have muddied the water here a little bit. They've taken a timeout. Right. Kanayev, who iced the puck, he's no longer on the ice. He just kind of wandered into the crowd, and he's sitting down on the bench.
Now, USA has called timeout here. And no one seems to have noticed that Kanayev just quietly exited the scene.
Oh, he's not going back on the ice. So now both teams obviously are talking about what they're going to do on their alignments. Igor Larionov is running the Russian side, and Ted Donato has got the United States side. So Larionov's on a face-off win and a face-off loss. Where people go, where you defend, where's the most dangerous parts of the ice. The U.S. wants to make sure they have puck possession first before they spread out, and everybody thinks they're open, but they don't have the puck yet.
And Wolf will stay on the U.S. bench. So again, the extra skater on 6-on-5 now for the U.S. And the face-off will be taken by Turcotte.
The U.S. has all left-handed centermen here, so Turcotte's got to take the draw, and he loses it.
Stefanov wins it. At the line, chipped out by Amirov. A race for it. Caulfield hustling back. Inside a minute to go now in the third period. Cole Caulfield with it. Another close game between the United States and Russia at the World Junior. The last 11 decided by 2 goals or fewer. The U.S. had a 5-game winning streak coming in against Russia. York up for Caulfield. Amirov got a stick on that. Mohamedulin up for Ustedinov to Amirov. Chipped up by Chinahov. In behind York. Here comes Chinahov. Scores the empty net goal. Will put it away as the Russians take a 5-3 lead with 21 seconds to go.
Chinahov took a little bit of a slash from Turcotte as he deposited this into the empty net. But that will lock it away for Russia. Good battle along the boards. The puck turns over, and Chinahov's going to get out in front of York. There's the slash. And Chinahov piles into the end boards. He missed a breakaway earlier in the third period. This one he puts away. As the U.S. comeback will fall short. Down 4-1 to make it 4-3. And it's now 5-3.
Chinahov, a first-round pick of Columbus in the last draft, plays for Omsk in the KHL, where his coach is Bob Hartley, former NHL head man, and former coach of the Latvian national team. So time winding down here in the third period of day 1. World Junior Championship. 3 terrific games today. More to come tomorrow. Russia takes it by a final score of 5-3. Their first win against the United States at the World Junior since 2016. And the Russians will take on the Czechs on Sunday. The U.S. come back tomorrow night against Austria.
A slow start for the U.S. No shots in their first 12 minutes. 3 quick goals was the end of Spencer Knight in the second period. And then the comeback made it 4-3 before the empty netter salts it away.
And time now for the player of the game presentations and the Russian national anthem.
The best players of each team is presented by Explore Edmonton, the visitor economy and venue management organization for Edmonton. Each winner will be awarded a custom wallet from local maker Close General Leather Company. Recipients will receive their award after they exit the ice. The best player of Team USA est le numéro 4, number 4, Cam York. The best player of Team Russia est le numéro 13, number 13, Vasily Ponomaryov. Et maintenant pour l'hymne national, for the national anthem of Team Russia.
The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 80 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. By TELUS, helping build stronger communities on and off the ice. When we give back together, we're all connected for good. And by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of Team Canada. The 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship from Edmonton, Alberta is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Find new reasons to cheer. Find new roads.
The best way to follow a Christmas Day triple header at the World Juniors is a Boxing Day triple header at the World Juniors. Sweden and the Czech Republic, start the day off, and then you're waiting for Canada and Germany. We're on the air 5:30 p.m. Eastern with the pregame show, and the U.S. will look for their first win against Austria in its debut, the nightcap. Your winners on day one: Slovakia in the morning, Finland in the afternoon, and Russia tonight. Canada, its first crack tomorrow against Germany. Tough road for the Germans. Only 14 skaters today, the same tomorrow as they take on the Canadians. Hope you had a great Christmas. We'll see you tomorrow from Edmonton.